Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Wednesday.
Oops, sorry. Messing up.
Wednesday, second time.
Yes. Good morning, Bob. How are you?
I'm better than you are this morning. You were a little stressed there, having a little technology issues, which you said is, it was funny. You said exactly what our topic is today.
Yeah, no.
What kills joy? And your joy was being killed.
I'm over it, though. I'm moving on.
Okay, all right. Easier said than done sometimes.
Sometimes.
You know, I would say often. I mean, I certainly find when my joy is killed, if it starts early in the morning, it can run all day. If it starts on Monday, it can run all week.
Whose choice is that?
Oh, totally mine.
That's why I'm choosing not to let it kill the rest of my joy. It killed my joy for 8 minutes. And now I am over it, and I'm moving on.
Okay. So now we did that little mini intro to the topic. Why don't we talk about the topic in full? How's that? That'd
probably be a really good idea. Although, you know what? Before we dive into that,
sure.
Why don't you tell everybody about our networking event that is coming up on Thursday?
Hey, guys, that's tomorrow. That's right. Thursday. 4 p.m. East. What?
Nothing.
We haven't done this for a couple of days, and I got to be out enjoying some golf. So I've got joy. I've got a lot of pent up, got to get it out energy.
It's going to be a good show.
No, because on the golf course, you have to be kind of subdued.
Okay.
And so now I can get out. So Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, we are going to have the next Renegade Roundup. That's right. It's your unique chance to get together with other entrepreneurs, business leaders, nonprofit professionals, people trying to make it happen, people who identify as renegades. Imagine being in a place where all the people have a shared interest in achieving their own pathway to success. That's what we give you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Plus, we're going to stir the pot in a way that you're actually going to get to know those people, talk to those people, and form the kinds of relationships that lead to success. That's 4 p.m. tomorrow. You can find more about it in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group and on the events page. Shoo.
Very nice. Very well done. Yes.
And by the way, God bless you, Tom.
Thank you. I tried to mute myself, but I was like, should I take myself off camera? And I'm like, it's too much technology to worry about in a short amount of time.
Notice how I was doing my thing and I didn't stop. I saw you sneeze and didn't stop. I kept going. That's evolution, dude.
Very impressive.
That's it.
Congratulations. It's one of the things you can celebrate. You should celebrate that as we start to talk about our summer of celebration, which will start on Monday, May 31st. So now let's dive into it.
But it's already begun.
Well, it has already.
We've got people celebrating in that Facebook group, which is great. I love it.
I do as well. And it'll officially kick off. We need to think about what is the not a prize, because I don't want it to be a prize, but
can't be a prize because it could be anything that you celebrate.
No, I'm saying there should be something. If someone does it for 30 straight days or 31 straight days or whatever, there should be some recognition of that. I don't know how we're going to do that. And then if somebody happens to do it every single day from Memorial Day to Labor Day, we should find a way to recognize that. I don't know what that looks like.
I can think of one person who I would almost guarantee will do that.
That's a lot of days. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out. And think about the difference you would be in, the place you would be in, if after however many days, almost 90 days or more than 90 days.
It's 96, I believe. I checked.
If for 96 days you celebrated something, where would you be at whether in your head, with your business, your organization, your team? Could be a very different place, which is why it could be a great summer if you participate.
Hey, Tom, I'm going to throw a comment in early today. Tim says, I very much like Tom's concept here of joy being a choice. If you allow circumstances to determine your joy, you will consistently have issues feeling joy. However, if you consciously choose to live a life of joy, then you will find joy regardless of what's happening around you.
He stole my whole one thing. Well, I didn't kind of want to share it at the beginning. I wasn't going to, and I was like,
So, folks, that was our episode for today. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode.
No, we need to talk about it a little further. So what are your thoughts, Bob, about what kills
Actually,
joy?
my thought was, I wonder what would happen if we stopped at 6 minutes, if we had more people or fewer people pay attention. That's
a good question. I don't know.
So we could just draw the line right there. I mean, that really does say it all. I feel like anything I would add to this at this point would be derivative, but that has never deterred me before.
That's the antidote. But I think there's more to what kills joy, because I think sometimes we don't even understand that we are losing it, right? We just get lost in whatever is happening, and it takes a while sometimes to figure it out. And I think if we can identify what are those things that for each of us we realize starts to kill our joy, we can be better prepared and not have it have such an impact. So I was thinking about this. I was like, when I think back on the situations in my professional life, when I felt like my joy was killed, it was typically around a coworker, a supervisor, someone that I was associated with who came in and had, you had a not so beneficial interaction. And that typically was not always based on all of the facts or all of the details or all of the information. And I know that slowed me down for a while, and that I thought about it. It's funny. I as I was thinking about it this morning, I can think of a few things that have gone on recently that have clearly, at least temporarily, killed my joy in whatever I was doing. And they usually come back to interactions with individuals. And whether it's because it wasn't the way we expected, it wasn't what we thought, it was a lot based on what were the results of something. And so this is their reaction to the results. And, and I think the more I understand that, the more I'm able to figure out how to move beyond it.
So all those examples you gave, Tom, all of them were your choice internally. You perceived someone's discussion in a way that took joy. You could have just, right?
Well,
granted, I mean,
there was clearly.
Well, if your employer is firing you, yes, that's going to take your joy away. Yeah. But you could also, as you were walking out of the building with your box in hand, say, wow, this was a really great experience. I learned a lot of great things here. My time here has come to a close. We have seasons of various things in our lives, and you move on. It's not as easy in that scenario. It's not easy when you're an employer and you have to let an employee go. I was talking to someone the other day while I played golf, and he said, I just had to let go one of our longest tenured employees. And it was a sales guy at a company up in New York. And he said, it was heartbreaking. I knew when he walked out of the building with this box, everyone was going to look at me. And he said, I did the one thing I knew that would throw them. I smiled as big as I could smile. And then as soon as the guy was gone, he called a meeting and said, we're moving forward. If anyone doesn't agree with my decision, you're free to go. The next day, he bought them donuts and said, I want this to be a new start. This is what we need to do. And so they all ate their donuts. There was a little sadness, and then they moved forward. And I think that's the thing about what kills joy is also what can make joy, restore joy, right? We have the control in our head most of the time. I can be pissed off at 8 o'clock that I have to do this stupid program today because I would love to have stayed in bed.
Sure.
Or I could go, you know what? So few people in the world get to actually share their perspective with people paying attention to it. I'm blessed in that way. why wouldn't I have joy? But I certainly find that what kills joy most for me is when I perceive other people's reactions as far more negative than they really are.
Sure. Sometimes, I think it all depends on the situation. Sometimes you can definitely tell that it is a negative reaction.
Yeah. But a negative reaction doesn't mean it should kill my joy. I wrote a book. I read to you earlier what someone said about the book. It's great. Guess what? If someone else says it's the worst book I've ever read, what a colossal waste of words. I can't believe he was able to find 150 pages of this drivel. I would I'd tailspin for a day or two.
Sure.
But then when I got myself back on track, it would be like, well, wait, that's one person being negative. All the other people are positive. Let's do the equation. And did I do what I intended to do? Absolutely. With this program, I don't know if we have one person paying attention to this each day or 1 million. It's probably somewhere in between those two numbers. If I sit and obsess about, we don't have enough people, it's going to take the joy out of it. And it's also going to cause me to do things to generate a bigger audience, which I don't think is true to who I am. Tom, we need to have really good music. And we need to bring in a female voice because a female voice is what's missing. Oh, we need to have less joking around. We need to do, this is what commercial radio and TV have become. You've got to have a look. You've got to have a sound. Everything's programmed so that it doesn't matter what network you watch on TV. Those news programs are going to be the same. It's homogenized. And I think that's the best way to kill joy, is to just give everyone the same vanilla ice cream and go, hey, this is the only flavor.
I would agree with that. I think that is definitely one way to kill joy. And I think and it's probably killing the joy for the people who feel like, okay, we've got to go through the same staid process time after time after time, rather than thinking about how might we do this differently? How might this look, sound, feel like it's unique, like it's our own? And I think sometimes that's one of the challenges, right? Is you get put into a box of other people's perceptions, other people's ideas of what this should be.
And other people's results.
Correct.
You and I are doing this as much for each other and ourselves as anything.
There's no doubt.
I don't believe that if tomorrow no one watched this, we would go, you know what, that was good while it lasted, bye-bye. I just don't buy it. So there's where, what could kill joy is if one of us was looking at that number up in the corner and going, oh my God, it's going lower and lower. Tom, we've lost the magic. No one cares anymore.
And we've never done that before.
I can speak to it eloquently because I've done it.
Sure.
But that's what kills the joy. And I think what you were saying about results, I think when we focus on the results, that's when the joy starts to go away, because the results aren't always what we think they are.
Sure.
So let's say you and I do this program this morning. One person's watching, and that one person has the epiphany that changes their life, whatever it is. If I knew about that person, the rest of my day, I don't care what I do for the rest of the day. I could sit in a corner and twiddle my thumbs for the next 23 hours, and I'd still be proud of my achievement for the day in helping someone make a difference. The challenge with that is it's hard to know who we're affecting, but it's real easy to know how many people are watching this program right now. Like It just doubled in the last 90 seconds.
Not that you're watching or anything.
Not that I'm watching. But that's the thing. How many lives have we affected? You're never going to get a clear number.
Correct. Well, and I think that's the thing too, is that the results are what they are in the moment, and then they can change. It's so interesting because before we started, while I was having technology challenges, you were telling me about one of the holes that you play.
Yes.
And how you hit you even described it as the perfect shot.
Until the wind hit it.
And then the results changed. Rather than just saying, you know what? I don't care about the results. I hit it, it was like we talked about that the other day. Like it was one of those shots where you're like, that's as good as I can do.
Yeah.
And you know what? If some results come from it that aren't what I expected, I'll live with that.
And now it's in Lake Otsego, or isn't that Lake Otsego?
Yeah,
in Cooperstown, New York. So if you see a ball that's got a B and a line on it, just send it my way.
Just happen to be diving for balls in Lake Otsego, New York.
It was only a foot offshore.
And it was the perfect shot for you.
Yes.
And I think that those are the things that like, wow, if I can do that once, I can probably do it again. And I can probably do it again. And I can choose to
It's funny because I told you I did it on the 18th hole, but on the 17th hole, I was in a bad place and I had to go over water there. And I came up just short there. And because I got so close on the 17th hole, I actually did the same thing on the 18th hole. You know the hole where you can choose how far it's going to go by your angle. I chose an aggressive angle. Everyone else chose a very, 150-yard angle. I picked probably 225 and came up 2 feet short. Had I gone where the others went, it would have been right on, no problem. But the 3 guys I were with all said the same thing. It's a gutsy call. I respect you for taking the chance.
Sure.
Like,
took a little risk.
What do I have to lose? So I got a ball in the water. I took a stroke penalty. Big deal.
Yeah, and in the moment, right, that was disappointing, clearly. You felt like you did it as good as you can. It's just like we could feel like we did this show to the best of our ability. And it might not have the impact that we thought it would. Whereas there might be another show, and I guarantee you I have hit golf shots that were not feeling like the most perfect shot I've ever hit. And the results, I was playing in an outing.
Before you go any further, let me stop you for a second because I want to give you this comment from John. Is football next? LOL.
It's all about golf. Sorry. I'm sure there are lessons there or in football, but I have not played any.
I think his comment was more, are you guys just going to go through all the sports? And we have a common friend who you know as well, who will typically bring up a football topic during a networking event consistently.
Yes. I'm not sure I think about that, but that's all right.
So that was a joke about that. Like, guys, you're moving off topic and getting into sports.
Well, I think that so often, just like work and just like life, sports provide some of those same lessons. You hit what you thought was the perfect shot. The results weren't what you expected. I, in an event, hit what was maybe one of the worst shots I hit in that entire event on a short par 3. It just so happened it ran a long way, rolled up, and ended like 3 inches from the pin. So I tap in, make a birdie on the shot that was literally like, oh my God, I can't believe I hit that shot. It was so bad. Well, it just so happens that it was the closest to the hole. It was a skin. I mean, like I won money on a shot that was the worst shot ever. My first soccer goal, honestly, I was about 30 yards away. I was just trying to chip it back into the penalty area. I hit it, knew I hit it wrong, turned my back. Sure enough, doesn't it go over the goalie's head into the goal? First high school goal. I had taken a ton of other really good shots that I thought were going to go in. So I think it's the same. We put out we do whatever we can. We take an action in our life, in our work, in what we're trying to accomplish. And whether the action was exactly the way we planned or exactly not the way we planned, we don't necessarily always control the results. Other things are going to happen. And so if we just continue to take actions, understand what they are, be happy and find joy in the action that we took and that we did it to the best of our ability, the results are going to be what the results are.
Or even not the best of our ability.
Well, correct. It just ends up that way.
Right? It could be either way.
Correct. Well, and I think that
I learned from hitting that shot perfectly that came up short. I learned more about what to do next time. Hey, check the wind.
Sure.
Lesson learned. I didn't think about the wind and its ability to drive the ball back. And I think why we can talk about it so easily in sports, it's low risk, low reward. Worst case, worst case, the ball goes in the water. Best case, the ball's dry. In business, it's not as cut and dried. The decision you make on how you approach a potential client you can't make the one-to-one relationship that because I said this sentence, they bought from me. Because typically clients I work with, I've said many sentences.
Sure.
And so you can't, I hit the ball directly this way, and this is the result. In business, it's more like I did these 88 things. I got this result. Now I've got to sort of intuit what worked. Just like we were talking this morning, we were trying to put together a link for something, and we were having a debate about what the best way to manage it was. And what our real discussion was, what it came down to, what's right for the customer and what's right for you and me. And finding the middle ground that supports both. And I think, in golf, it's if I had shot the ball five feet to the right, it would be on the fairway. Next time I'm on that hole, I'm going to go 5 feet right.
Sure. And you may not hit it as well, and you may still end in the water. It's possible.
And in my business, I'm still going to blow a sales call. I'm still going to say the wrong thing at the wrong time. I'm going to interrupt the person while they're speaking. And those things tend to take away my joy in the moment. But then I say to myself, you do a lot of talking. You're not going to be perfect 100% of the time. You're going to say something wrong, probably once a day. If you're lucky, only once a day.
Sure.
We do this program every day. I don't think we've offended anyone. Maybe, but not to my knowledge, but it takes a lot of work not to offend people because all one of us needs to do is say the wrong thing. It's easy.
I think I offended Tim when I told him that empathy was not part of the equation.
Oh, you went back to that.
Thought it was I just, I understood that. I was okay. So Bob, as we wrap up, I think we've been all around joy. And what kills it?
That's funny. All around joy.
So what is your thing? What's your one thing today around what kills it?
I think most of what I would say is the joy. I allow joy to be killed by how I react to situations. No one can take my joy away but me. And if there is someone who is causing me to lose my joy, then I need to deal with that. Maybe that's not the person I want to spend time with. Maybe that's the client that I don't want to work with. Maybe that's the networking group I don't want to be in because for whatever reason, and that's an individual choice. And that's totally okay to say, you know what? This doesn't bring me joy. Maybe it did a week ago or a month ago or a year ago, but now it doesn't. And if it doesn't, why sap your joy for no reason? So it's what are you getting out of it? If it's taking away your joy, to me, that's one of the most valuable things we have.
Sure. I agree. I love that point. I think that's exactly where I would go with it as well, is that we have the ability to choose how we are going to react to somebody else's reaction, some other input, some other result, some result that we get. And we can allow it to kill our joy, or we can choose to maintain the joy we have and not have just our results impact who we are. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Bob. I'm not going to add any more to it.
Okay.
Well,
awesome.
If you have your one thing that you'd like to share about what kills joy for you, or you have a different thought than what we have, please feel free to share it in the comments. We would love to hear it because we know that it will likely impact someone else out there. They may never tell you that, and that it will add benefit. It will add value to what people are doing. So if you would like to continue conversations like this, please join us inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. It's easy to do. Just go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades, and you can become a part of our growing community. It is a private community because we are trying to create space so that people can figure out how to take their next step, how to move forward, how to refine joy if they are struggling and they are letting their results impact who and what they are, and they want to make a choice. They want to do something different. So we hope you will join us inside of there. If not, we will see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, for our next edition of today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone, and here's some further details about the Ring of Renegades Facebook group.
Carving your own path is tough. You want and need a community to offer you insights and advice, share inspiration, provide support, and save you time and money. But where do you find all that? Here's the easy answer: the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners identify their next steps. Here's some of what you will find at the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Just go to ringofrenegades.com and join today. Find and accomplish those